You're watching Forsaken Joe. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy the story. Let's begin.
I was standing in the hallway, tying my boots for work, when I heard Claire screaming from the other room. I said, "If you contact me again, I will file for a restraining order. Do not test me. This ends now." She slammed the bedroom door so hard the frame shook. My stomach did this slow twist. That wasn't her voice, at least not the one I knew. It was clipped, cold, like someone cornered. I waited a few seconds before walking in. She was sitting on the edge of the bed, holding her phone, her face already reset, too fast. "Who was that?" I asked, keeping my voice light. She didn't look up. "Just some nutjob customer. You know that online skincare crap I sell? Some woman's pissed because her order's late." I watched her for a second. Claire was a good liar, always had been. But she blinked too much when she was nervous. And right now, she looked like she couldn't remember where to blink at all. That sounded serious. "Dave," she snapped, finally meeting my eyes. "It's nothing. I already blocked her." Quick note, before we start, how's your day going and where are you joining from? She kissed me on the cheek and walked out like it was just another Tuesday. But something had shifted. After 15 years together, you learn to spot the cracks, how someone walks, how they breathe, the tension under their smile. Claire used to be a slow burn when angry, not this full-on nuclear meltdown. "My name's Dave. I'm 38. HVAC ops manager for a mid-size firm in Denver. We live in the suburbs, quiet place, decent neighbors, nothing fancy. On paper, our life looks good. Married 15 years, 2 cars, no major debt, no big fights. But lately, something's been off. No real blow-ups. Just distance. Like we were roommates who used to be married." After she left for work, I sat down at the kitchen table and opened the laptop. We share an account for our phone plans. She probably forgot that. I scrolled through the call logs. Took maybe 3 minutes to find it. Number wasn't saved, but it had popped up over 20 times in the last month. Same number, same area code, and always midday when I wasn't home, including one just 10 minutes before the blow-up. I stared at it, heart starting to race. I grabbed my phone, stepped out into the garage, and shut the door behind me. Then I dialed. "Hello." A man answered, low voice, gravelly. Older. Not what I expected. "Yeah, I saw this number on my wife's call log. She said it was a customer complaint." There was a pause on the line, then he sighed. "You must be Dave." That stopped me. "Who is this?" "I'm Ron. We should talk." We met that afternoon in some busted-up diner off I-25, the kind of place with sticky booths and a chalkboard menu nobody's updated in 10 years. The waitress poured coffee like she was mad at it. Ron waved her off without looking up. He looked like someone who used to be a cop, but got fired for punching someone too hard. Gray beard, worn leather jacket, big hands that sat too still on the table. I sat down across from him, and before I could ask anything, he spoke. "Claire hired me. I'm a PI." I blinked. "What?" "She came to me about 6 months ago. Paid cash. Said she wanted eyes on you. Thought maybe you were cheating. Or hiding something." I stared at him. She thought I was cheating? She was building a case for divorce. Wanted leverage. Court usually favors whoever's cleaner, and she wanted to be spotless. I just sat there, gripping my coffee like it was holding me up. "I watched you, ran your records, followed your car a few times. You were clean," he said. "No affairs, no gambling, no secret kids in another state. Pretty boring, actually." "Gee, thanks." He cracked a half smile. "Here's where it gets complicated. While I was digging into you, I found something on her. Thought you should know." That pulled me up straight. "Like what?" "She has a bank account you don't know about. Cayman Islands." I traced regular monthly deposits. Same source every time. Company called Biotrix Labs. Over 2.3 million sitting there. My stomach flipped. "Biotrix?" I asked. "My company's been in a legal fight with their parent firm. Just started a few weeks ago." "Yeah," Ron nodded, pulling out a folder and sliding it across the table. "This goes back months. She's been feeding them intel, technical data, contract terms, internal memos. She doesn't have that info. She does if you set it around her." I shook my head, trying to push it down, but it wouldn't go. "I never gave her anything like that." Ron shrugged. "I listened to a few recordings. You talk about your work a lot at home, especially at night. She recorded those conversations. Transcribed them. Emailed detailed reports straight to a guy named Nolan Stokes. That name hit like a slap. He was high up at the parent company. PR or acquisitions, I think. Suits like that never used to be on my radar. She's been selling out my company? He nodded slowly. You didn't know? I believe that. But now you do. I stared down at the table, jaw tight, heart pounding through my chest. She was never trying to catch me cheating. I muttered. She was trying to distract me, keep me paranoid. Ron didn't argue. I was going to drop her as a client. But when I found this, I figured you had a right to know. What do you want from me? Nothing. I already got paid. Just didn't like being lied to either. I nodded, trying to process what this meant. Claire hadn't just betrayed me. She'd weaponized our marriage. Used my job, my trust, my voice at the damn dinner table. You sure about the money? I asked. Ron pulled out a flash drive, slid it across. You'll find email chains, payment confirmations, routing logs. All of it. I stared at it. It felt like a piece of hot metal. She ever talk about a storage unit? He asked suddenly. No. She's got one. Goes there once or twice a week. Out in Arvada. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling like that would stop the world from spinning. Ron stood up, sliding on his jacket. You want to see how deep this goes? That's where I'd start. He dropped a small note with the address. Good luck, Dave. Then he walked out. Didn't even touch his coffee. I sat there another 10 minutes, just staring at that flash drive like it might explode. Then I pocketed it, dropped the 10 on the table, and left without a word. I drove straight from the diner to the address Ron gave me. No music, no calls, nothing. Just white noise between my ears, and that flash drive burning a hole in my pocket. The place was a rundown self-storage lot in Arvada, tucked behind a tire shop. Faded orange doors, chain-link fence half covered with weeds, keypad busted and propped open with a brick. Real secure. Claire's unit was number 63. I parked far down the row, out of camera range, if the cameras even worked, and waited. 10 minutes, then 20. No one in or out. I got out, pulled my hat low, and walked the row like I belonged. The lock was a heavy pad, nothing fancy. I looked around. That's when I spotted the guy 2 units over, hunched by his pickup, smoking. I nodded at him. You ever forget your key? He laughed, shook his head. Once. Used a crowbar. Bent the whole damn door. I pointed at 63. That one's my wife's. She's out of town. I just need to grab something quick. He sized me up. She give you the combo? She gave me attitude. He grinned. Hang on. 5 minutes later, I had a crowbar in hand and him standing lookout. One pop at the bottom corner, then a second up top. The lock snapped loose. I gave him a quick thumbs up. He disappeared back to his truck like this was normal. I stepped inside. The unit smelled like cardboard and dryer sheets. Neat rows of labeled bins. One small folding table. A gray laptop. A locked safe in the corner. This wasn't storage. It was a workroom. I flipped open the laptop. No sticker with a password. Just a login screen. I tried her old go-to. Our wedding date. No luck. Then I typed in Denver 2014, the year she opened that skincare business. The screen blinked, then unlocked. I opened the file marked Invoices first. Nothing sketchy, just normal business stuff. Then I hit a folder called Work_Documents. Inside were PDFs labeled with my company's name, quarterly reports, internal memos, stuff no one outside should have. I clicked open an email thread. Claire sending files to N. Stokes at Biotrix Labs. Dozens of them. Every email was professional. Clinical. Like she didn't know me at all. Then I saw a folder labeled Insurance. I opened it. That's when my hands started shaking. Photos. Of me. At work. At the grocery store. At the gym. Outside my parents' house. One shot was me sitting in the truck, picking my teeth with a toothpick. It had a damn timestamp. There were surveillance logs with dates and times. Background checks on people I've known since high school. My old roommate, my assistant at work, even my cousin in Dallas. Who does that? I reached for my keys and popped the flash drive Ron gave me into the USB slot. I copied everything. The emails, the photos, the payment logs, the notes. I snapped shots on my phone too, just in case. The safe sat in the corner like it was daring me. But I wasn't cracking a safe without a plan. I took close-up pictures of the lock and serial number. Maybe Ron could help. I cleaned up quick. Replaced the laptop exactly how I found it. Closed all the bins. Wiped the keyboard. I stepped out, checked both ends of the row, then snapped the broken lock off and put on a new one I'd picked up from the office. Back in my truck, I sat there breathing like I'd just run a marathon. Claire hadn't just spied on me. She'd profiled me. Every detail, every move. She didn't just stop trusting me. She'd turned me into a suspect. I texted Ron one word, got it. Then I drove home, every mile heavier than the last. I didn't go home right away. I drove around for an hour, maybe more, just looping the same streets, waiting for the rage to settle. It didn't. When I finally walked through the door, it was close to 10. The house was quiet. Claire was in the kitchen, pouring tea like nothing had happened, wearing those soft house slippers, hair pulled back in a loose braid, like she was just another tired wife winding down. She looked up when I came in. Hey, everything okay? I dropped my keys on the counter hard enough to make her flinch. You talked to him today, didn't you? I said. Her hand froze mid-pour. Who? Ron. Her eyes darted once. That was all it took. I don't know who. Don't. I stepped forward. Don't lie again. I met him. I know everything. She set the kettle down slow. Dave, you hired a private investigator to follow me, spy on me, dig up dirt so you could prep for a divorce I didn't even know was happening. She let out a breath like she'd been holding it for days. I can explain. You're damn right you can. I thought you were hiding something, she said, voice shaking. You were distant, distracted. I felt like a stranger in my own house. Oh, you felt like a stranger? I laughed once sharp. You mean while you were documenting my schedule, my friends, tracking my damn grocery trips? Her eyes narrowed. You went through my things. I broke into the storage unit, yeah? After I found out you've been feeding confidential company documents to Biotrix Labs for months. She froze. I've got the laptop, the emails, the payment logs. You've been selling out my company using stuff I said in my own house, thinking I was talking to my wife, not a mole. That's not fair. Fair. I slammed my hand on the counter. You spied on me. Set me up like some criminal. You thought I'd never figure it out? She backed up a step, then crossed her arms. You violated my privacy. That's still a crime, Dave. I stared at her. You don't get to play victim. Not now. Claire turned away, like the sight of me was the problem. I didn't do this to hurt you. You did it to protect yourself, right? I snapped. From what? From being honest? She didn't answer. You had over 2 million sitting in a hidden account. Money you made off me. Off stuff I never even realized was valuable until you turned it into leverage. Her voice dropped. I was being pressured. My firm knew about Biotrix. They warned me not to get caught up in the legal fallout. I panicked. I saw an opportunity. To betray me, I said flatly. She turned back to face me. I was scared. Of what? That I might leave you? No, she said quickly. That you'd find out what I'd done. That I'd lose everything. You still might. Claire stepped closer. I didn't want to ruin you, Dave. I just needed insurance. In case things fell apart. You didn't think about what it'd do to me? My job? My life? She looked down. I did. That's why I kept tabs on you. I needed to know you weren't doing anything that could turn on me. You were hoping I'd screw up? I said, voice low. So you wouldn't feel guilty. I thought maybe you were cheating, she whispered. I stepped back. That's what this was about? Your guilt made you think I'd mess up, too? I didn't want to believe it, she said. But I kept imagining it. Obsessing. It made me feel justified. You've been sleeping next to me every night, pretending none of this was happening. She wiped at her face. I wanted to tell you. So many times. Why didn't you? I didn't know how. I thought if I just stopped, it would go away. It doesn't go away, I said. Not this. Claire stared at me like she didn't recognize who I was anymore. I walked to the sink, filled a glass, and took a long drink. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet, I said. But just so we're clear, you don't get to spin this. She didn't speak. You've been gathering leverage against me. Now I've got leverage on you. She looked up slowly. Are you going to destroy me? I stared back at her, cold. Not yet. She swallowed hard. Then I turned, walked out of the kitchen, and left her standing there in silence. I went straight to the basement, shut the door, locked it behind me, and dropped into the old recliner we'd kept since the first apartment. My hands were still clenched. My jaw hurt from how hard I'd been grinding it. Then I picked up the phone and called the one person I knew wouldn't waste time sugarcoating it. My dad answered on the second ring. It's late, he said. I need advice, I replied. And I need you to be straight with me. You in trouble? Not yet. But I'm close to something messy. He didn't ask questions right away. Just listened. I told him everything. The the emails, the payments. I didn't hold anything back. He was quiet for a while. Then he said, first thing, you keep it clean. No illegal recordings. No forced entry. You're walking into a legal war, not a bar fight. Already broke into a storage unit. He grunted. Don't make that a habit. I rubbed my forehead. She's smart, Dad. Calculated. She's got dirt, money, motive. But no idea you flipped the board on her. That's your edge. He was right. Claire's not afraid of a courtroom. She's afraid of her reputation going up in smoke. I need leverage, I said. Then build it, he replied. Document everything. Confirm every detail. And get legal eyes on it before you act. He gave me the name of a divorce attorney he trusted, someone quiet, tactical. Said she'd handled messy takedowns before, especially involving corporate crossover. Before I hung up, he added, don't get emotional. That's how they bait you. Stay 5 steps ahead. I didn't sleep. I sat at the workbench with a yellow legal pad, scribbling plans like it was a hostage situation. Step 1. Control the narrative. No more reaction. Everything from here on was strategy. Step 2. Secure allies. I needed people who could validate the evidence and keep it airtight. Step 3. Prep exposure. If she tried to spin this or drag me down, I had to be ready to go nuclear. By sunrise, I'd made 3 calls. First was to my company's legal department. I requested a confidential meeting with internal counsel. Said I had urgent concerns regarding sensitive intel. Didn't give details, just enough to make it real. Next, I contacted a private security firm. A buddy from my industry recommended them years ago, said they specialized in digital counterintel. I sent them a list of everything I had, photos, laptop files, flash drive content. I told them to verify it all and dig deeper. If Claire had been this methodical, I needed professionals to untangle it before I made a move. Last call was to the divorce attorney. Her assistant booked a consultation for 2 days out. She warned me not to mention anything on email or text. I didn't plan to. Around 8 a.m., I finally stood up, cracked my back, and looked at the mess of paper I'd spread across the table. Claire still hadn't come downstairs. She probably thought I was licking my wounds or figuring out how to beg her to stop. Let her think that. I slid my notes into a folder and locked it in my tool chest. Game had changed. I wasn't her husband anymore. I was her target. And now, she was mine. By mid-morning, Claire finally broke the silence. Biotrix knows you're involved. I don't know how. Be careful. That was the full text. No, I'm sorry. No, let's talk. Just straight panic. I stared at the screen for a second, then put the phone down without replying. She wasn't warning me. She was warning herself. Trying to do damage control now that her leash had slipped. At the office, things felt off. I walked into my department and caught the tail end of my assistant, Rachel, arguing with someone at reception. She rushed over the second she saw me. Hey, some guy was here asking about your schedule. Said he was with a supplier, but he didn't leave a card. Knew your name, your job title, even what car you drive. I froze. What supplier? He said Midway Industrial. But I called them. They've never heard of him. That locked it. Nolan Stokes. Or someone sent by him. Claire must have told them I knew. Now they were circling, trying to figure out if I was going to burn the house down or crawl back under the porch. I kept my voice calm. If he shows up again, don't say a word. Just call security and have him removed. Rachel nodded. She didn't ask questions, which I appreciated. I locked myself in my office and called the security firm I'd hired. Told them everything. The visit, the text from Claire, and what I suspected Biotrix was doing. They were already working on digital forensics. But after that call, they kicked things into overdrive. Said they'd start tracing any outbound traffic from my company that matched Claire's pattern, metadata, document headers, VPN activity, even scrub drives. While they worked that end, I moved on mine. First thing, I scheduled a confidential briefing with our in-house legal counsel and the compliance director. Said I had evidence of an internal breach tied to our litigation with Biotrix's parent company. They agreed to meet in person the next day. No paper trail. Second, I reached out to a friend on the board. Just dropped a hint. Told him I had information that could change the entire direction of our legal strategy. I didn't give details, but I told him he'd want to be in that meeting. He said he'd clear his calendar. Then I told Rachel to hold all calls, and I shut my door again. Half an hour later, a courier showed up with a manila envelope. No return address. Inside, a flash drive, a printout, and a short note in all caps. You're gonna want this. R. Ron. I plugged the drive into the secure laptop the security firm had given me. What I saw blew the whole thing wide open. It wasn't just Claire. Ron had traced at least 7 other consultants, funneling internal intel from competing companies to Biotrix. Same playbook, different names, all layered under shell LLCs, all funneled to offshore accounts. The printout had Claire's full pipeline, timestamps, dollar amounts, email logs, routing info. Ron had been holding on to this in case she ever burned him. Now it was mine. The final folder was a surveillance report on Nolan Stokes himself. Photos, car plates, 2 different burner phones tied to encrypted email addresses, one of which had emailed Claire last month. They weren't just bribing people. They were building a blackmail empire out of stolen data and insider threats. I copied it all to 2 encrypted backups and sent one straight to the security team. Told them, verify this fast. I need full authentication before tomorrow. I also texted Ron. This changes everything. We'll talk soon. He replied in under a minute. You've got firepower now. Use it right. I leaned back in my chair and looked around the office. They thought I was just another pawn in their game. They had no idea who I used to be before this job. Before marriage. They were about to find out. I pulled into the driveway just after 9. Claire's car was already there. The house lights were on. Living room, kitchen, even the porch light. She was waiting for me. I walked in through the side door. She was sitting at the table, hands folded like a damn hostage negotiator. In front of her, a manila envelope, her laptop, and a stack of papers clipped together. Before you say anything, she said, standing up slowly, I've ended it. I dropped my bag by the door, but didn't move any closer. She slid the stack toward me. Every transfer I made, every contact, the dates, the totals. I logged everything. I didn't touch it. I sent my resignation this morning, she went on. Effective immediately. I won't be practicing law again. Not here, not anywhere. And I said flat. She swallowed hard, then opened the laptop. One file open on the screen, some kind of spreadsheet. Another was a signed PDF, her resignation letter, addressed to her managing partner. She turned the screen toward me. Biotrix contacted me again, told me they were watching, that if I didn't clean up the mess, I'd be next. I didn't flinch. I'm supposed to feel bad about that? No, she said quietly. I just wanted you to know I didn't drag this out. I shut it down. I stepped forward finally. You don't get to shut this down. Not on your terms. Her eyes flickered. Then what do you want? I want it official. In writing. You leave the firm. You sign a full confession. You agree to a divorce on my terms. No delays. No hidden assets. And you leave Colorado. Permanently. Her face hardened. You can't tell me where to live. I'm not telling. I'm offering you a choice. Take the deal and walk away quietly. Or I hit send. I pulled out my phone and opened an email draft I'd prepared that morning. The subject line, full disclosure, Biotrix internal mole and evidence packet. Attached, everything. Her files, the recordings, the money trail, the photos. Recipient, our company's legal team. BCC'd to the press. Her mouth tightened. You're bluffing. I tapped the screen. Try me. She stared at the phone, then sank back into the chair. This is revenge, she muttered. You're trying to humiliate me. No, I said. I'm protecting what's left of my name. You made me the target. You just missed. She shook her head slowly. You're enjoying this too much. I leaned down, met her eyes. You were ready to ruin me. I'm just making sure you don't get the chance. We stared at each other like that for a long second. Then she reached for the papers and started signing. Her hand didn't shake. Not even once. 2 days later, I walked into a high-rise downtown, 15th floor, glass everywhere. The kind of office that screamed money, quiet carpet, fake smiles, espresso machine nobody touched. The receptionist gave me a name badge and offered bottled water like I was here for a damn interview. I declined. Mr. Stokes will see you now. Nolan's office was massive, floor-to-ceiling windows, art that looked like it cost more than my truck, and just enough modern furniture to feel sterile. He stood to greet me, tall and polished, mid-40s maybe, gray suit with no wrinkle in sight. The kind of guy who probably practiced smiling in the mirror. Mr. Ritter, glad we could chat, he said, like we were old friends. I didn't shake his hand. You know why I'm here. He gestured to the seat across from him. Of course. We were surprised to hear from you. Claire never mentioned you had such strong opinions about her arrangement with us. Saturday, let's stop pretending. You know exactly what she gave you. and now you know I've got the receipts. He gave me this smirk, leaned back like he wasn't impressed. Look, Dave, can I call you Dave? Claire was an external consultant. What she did or didn't share was her responsibility. I understand you're emotional, but let's not turn this into something it isn't. I'm not emotional, I said. I'm methodical, and I brought something with me. I pulled out my phone and hit play. The audio crackled. Then Claire's voice came through loud and clear. They knew everything. Biotrix told me exactly what to extract, how to do it. They said as long as I kept Dave close, they'd handle the rest. I never thought they'd push it this far. Stokes' smile dropped. What is that? Confession. One of many. Professionally generated by a forensic audio firm. Completely legal. Filed with a timestamp, chain of custody, and reviewed by 2 experts. I'll send you a copy. He straightened up. You realize this kind of thing is illegal. Wire fraud. Fabrication. You're opening yourself up. No, I cut in. I'm closing you off. He didn't speak. I leaned forward. See, Nolan, I don't care if this lands in court. But you do. Your shareholders? They care. So does your PR team. Your whole empire is built on clean partnerships. If this goes public, everything you touched for the last 5 years gets re-examined. He tapped a pen against the desk, but his eyes weren't on me anymore. They were darting to the corners of the room. I kept going. I know about the other informants. All 7. I've got the paper trails, the offshore accounts, the fake companies. I've even got your burner phone records. You're bluffing. I pulled out a printed page, slid it across the desk. This one's from your email to Claire. You used her to get into our data pipeline. You wanted to blow up our legal standing so Biotrix could swoop in and settle at a discount. He skimmed the document. His face went still. So here's the deal, I said. You're going to walk away. You're going to clear my name, completely. No fallout. No rumors. I stay clean, and you stay out of prison. And if I don't, I pointed to the USB drive on his desk. That goes to the client's legal team, the board, then the Wall Street Journal. He stared at me for a long time. Then he leaned back and sighed. Fine. You'll get a written statement from us in 48 hours. Full exoneration. You'll be removed from all filings. And Claire? She's already been erased. We don't keep liabilities on payroll. I stood. Good. He tried to salvage some pride. You played this well, Dave. Didn't expect that. I turned to leave, then paused in the doorway. You tried to use the wrong guy. Then I walked out without looking back. A few weeks later, she showed up in jeans and a plain sweatshirt, hair pulled back in a ponytail. No makeup. No briefcase. Just her and a small suitcase she parked by the door. I'm heading out tonight, she said. Flight to Phoenix leaves at 7. I nodded but didn't say much. She stood there like she was waiting for me to stop her. I didn't. I didn't want to leave without saying goodbye. I stayed leaning against the kitchen counter, arms crossed. She stepped in farther, looking around the house like it already didn't belong to her anymore. I got a job lined up. Nothing special. Just something to start over. I didn't ask what it was. She let the silence hang for a few seconds, then took something out of her pocket, her engagement ring. The same one I'd saved up 2 years to buy. She set it gently on the table. You should keep it. I don't deserve it. I stared at it, then at her. Was it worth it? Her throat tightened. No. She looked down. I lost the only person who ever really loved me. I didn't say anything. I wasn't angry anymore, not really. Just numb. She moved to the door, hand on the handle. For what it's worth, it wasn't all fake. I didn't plan to wreck us. I just made one bad choice, then tried to cover it with 10 worse ones. Still, I didn't respond. She hesitated one more second. I'm sorry, Dave. For everything. Then she left. I watched her walk out without turning around. No tears. No hugs. No drama. Just gone. That was the end of it. The door clicked shut behind her, and for the first time in months, the house didn't feel like a trap. It was quiet. Still. No tension creeping in from the next room. Just air, just space. Mine. I went upstairs, grabbed the duffel I'd packed the night before, and hauled it down to the front hallway. Another bag sat by the door. Maps, notebooks, charger cords, everything I'd need. The keys to the convertible were already in my pocket. Yeah, I bought a damn convertible. Midnight blue, soft top, loud as hell. Total impulse. I didn't care. It was the first time in 15 years I'd done something just because it felt right. I walked out to the garage and opened the trunk. Tossed in the bags, zipped it shut. I'd take I-70 west to Moab. then maybe north into Idaho. Hit the Tetons. Cut down through Nevada. I wasn't planning every stop, just the direction. My out of office was already on. I'd told work I needed 6 weeks, maybe more. Didn't say why. They didn't ask. My team had my back. I stepped back into the kitchen, grabbed a beer from the fridge, and popped it open. The bottle hissed like it understood. The sun was starting to drop past the neighbor's roofline. I walked out to the porch, sat in the old wooden chair Claire always hated, and let the quiet roll in. I wasn't feeling victorious. That's not what this was. But the weight was gone. The truth blew everything up, but it also cleared the damn smoke. I'd been loyal. I'd been honest. I'd fought fair. And yeah, I got played. But I didn't lose myself in the process. Tomorrow, I drive. No destination. Just motion. Just forward. For the first time in years, I wasn't cleaning up someone else's mess or trying to hold something broken together. It was just me now. And the road was mine.